Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's a heart thing. I have not been on here for, I want to say, over 2 years. My initial channel, I talk about life lessons and just kind of go through certain principles that I've incorporated into my life. But today I'm going to put on a different hat and I'm going to talk about something that I know a little bit about. I am a CPA, so that whole tax deadlines are fast approaching a lot of us. And so I want to give you guys some information that I know. Back in 2020, I actually went in and put myself on inactive status, my CPA certification. But just because I did that doesn't mean I still don't know what it means to actually go in and either timely file your tax return, or if you can't file your tax return, then to file an extension. So I want to start out by saying that I'm mainly going to talk about individual tax extensions, but I do want to point out the other types of extensions. And I'm actually going to put a picture of the forms because the way I'm taping it is going to flip the form, which could be very confusing. But I will just pull here, like the first form is a form 7004. 7004 is an extension for corporations and partnerships. So if you have a C Corp or an S Corp or a partnership, you're going to file a form 7004. And that extension has to be filed by March 15th. So it means that in a few weeks, you need to get that one filed if you need time to file your actual tax return. There's another one that is for people that are out of the country, and that's form 2350. This one I haven't used that much, but this one here, you need to file it by, I want to say June 17th. Well, you file it by this one. Okay, let me back up. For if you're out of the country, you actually get an extended amount of time to file your tax return. So how most people, we have to file by April 15th. Well, if you're out of the country, you get until June, I think it's 17th. So April, May, June, 2-month extension. And if you can't file by that time, then you file this form to get an additional 4 months extension. So basically, this is just if you're out of the country and you can't get to filing your tax return. Once again, I'm going to put these up so you can see it because it's backwards here. But the form that we're going to talk about is the one which a lot of you are familiar with, which is 4868. And 4868 is the individual tax extension. This extension is due by April 15th of 2024. I think there's 2 states that have it through April 17th. Let me see. I thought I wrote it down. April 17th for Maine and Massachusetts, because there's some type of state holiday where they give those particular states an extra few days before filing their extension. But most of us will have to have our extension in by April 15th of this year, 2024. Now, what I want to tell people, and this is the I guess, misconception, is that filing for an extension does not say that you should not pay your taxes timely. This is only an extension to file, not to pay. So when you file that extension, most times what they like is that you go ahead and you pay your taxes. You come up with an estimate and you pay it. But most people don't do that. I will tell you, I've done taxes and I have never filed an extension where someone has written me a check and said, okay, I'm going to pay while I'm filing this extension. So in our minds, we somehow believe, okay, filing an extension is not only an extension to file, but an extension to pay. And that is not correct. When you go in, now here's the good part. You file this extension because you want to make sure that you do not get the penalty for not filing, for not being compliant with the deadline. So when you go in and you file an extension, you will not get the extension penalty. The filing penalty. Failure to file. That is a penalty, and that penalty can be a lot greater than the penalty for not paying timely. So you want to make sure that you file the extension timely so that you're filing timely, even though you're extending it. And this extension, and it was many years ago, you would have to do 2 extensions. And I guess the IRS got tired of that and they said, we're going to group it all together. So now when you file Form 4868, you file to extend your period of actually pulling all your information together and filing your tax returns through October 15th. So by that time, you have to file your tax return. After that, if you don't file your tax return after October 15th, then that's when you will start to get the penalty for failure to file timely. That's when that penalty jumps back in. And I will give you those percentages. It's been a while since I've done that. Hold on one second. Let me pull some stuff. So when you file your extension and do not pay, there will be 2 things that will be assessed on your final tax liability bill. And that will be failure to pay your taxes, which is, like I said, that 5%. That will go up to about 25%, and that's where it caps off, it stops. And the interest on your balance. That is something that will happen. So if you know that every year you normally get a refund on your taxes, then you will not be assessed the interest because, that's your money. And you will also not be assessed a penalty for failure to pay because you didn't owe anything. So it basically goes away. So if you're that kind of person that I'm going to get a refund, I just don't want to deal with these taxes right now, file your extension, give yourself some time to pull all your documents together and file your tax return by April 15th. And you will then not be assessed a penalty or an interest because the money is yours. In addition to, if you know that you're going to have a refund and you say you missed the October 15th deadline after, you filed your extension and you file it, you're getting a refund, you will not be assessed a penalty for failure to file timely. So basically, if you're getting a refund, then you're kind of okay. I hate to say that, but yes, you will be okay. Now, here's the thing, and I I used to tell this to a lot of people because, like I said, during COVID, I kind of put my CPA status on inactive and I'm trying to decide if that's something I want to go back to. But for those of us or those of you who do get refunds and you don't file, the IRS is not going to be that kind of person or entity, should I say, that's going to contact you and say, hey, guess what? You didn't file your tax return and you're actually due a refund. And the money that they hold for you, because it's really your money, you don't gain interest on that. And I always tell people, if you have a refund and you don't go in and get it, you're not going to gain interest on the money that they're holding for you. So you're basically giving the IRS interest-free loan until you decide to file your tax return and get your money. So, I just kind of say, hey, check it out. See if you're due a refund and get that refund done. Now, here's the little caveat. If you don't file your tax return to get your refund within a 3-year period from the original date that the tax return was due, you lose that refund. You don't get it. It's their money. So it's very, very important that you, even if you don't file your tax return, just go in and check out the numbers and estimate and see if you're getting a refund and file. Because at that point, you're not going to get assessed for late filing penalty. You're not going to get assessed interest because you don't have any tax liability. and you're not going to get assessed a penalty for failure to pay timely. If that all makes sense. The last thing I want to say is that a lot of folks is like, I can't pay my taxes, so I'm just not gonna file it. Well, there is a form, and it's called, and I'll put that on the screen as well, because if I do it here, it's backwards, but it's form 9465, and that's an installment agreement. And you can actually go in and set up an installment agreement with the IRS and pay over time. I've set up agreements for like 24 months. I don't know if they go up to 36 months, but you can go in and set up an installment agreement and therefore pay your taxes. So hopefully all of this helps you out. What I will say is that I am still into my life lessons. I've had a lot of lessons over the last 2 years. I've had some major health scares. I've moved from one state to another. Oh, one more thing before I jump on to other stuff about life lessons is that if you live in a state, which I did, and that's why I thought of it. I lived in Arizona, and I've just moved from Arizona 2 years ago, and I'm in Texas. Arizona has a state income tax. Texas doesn't. So in Arizona, if you file your federal extension, Arizona will recognize the federal form and say that you have, in essence, filed your state extension. Now, not all states do that. So you would have to actually go in and see if your state, if you're assessed a state income tax, if your state will acknowledge the federal extension. So, and last but not least, I want to say that you can paper file. And if you paper file, on the back of the form, and I'll show the back, there are places where you can mail that extension. You can also go to irs.gov and go there and file your extension for free. I would say it's quicker to do it via e-filing it with IRS than doing a paper one. But hey, if you're going to do a paper one, make sure you get it to the post office before 12:01 a.m. Going into April 16th. Because if you don't file it by the 15th, then you are then going to be assessed that failure to file timely penalty. In addition to you not paying, the failure to pay timely and the interest on it. So you don't want to get all that stuff racked up. So, but back to what I was saying, I'm still going to do my life lessons. I've had some health scares. I've moved to a whole new state. Just some things have happened in my life, and I've basically stepped back from my channel, just trying to assess and see and feel and kind of see where I want to land. And I will definitely be doing some more life lessons videos. But right now I just kind of said this is that time I want to just share this lesson. The lesson to not accumulate unnecessary penalties and interest when you don't have to, because there are tools in place where you can actually avoid certain things this tax season. So with that, hopefully this is helpful. If you like what I'm doing, if you want to go back and look at some of my old videos, that would be great. But if you like it, please comment, like, and subscribe. But I will be doing some more just helpful tips, because there's a lot of stuff that I've learned and I can share and kind of keep you guys from stepping into the different holes and pitfalls that I have experienced in my life. So with that, have a good one, guys. I am glad to be back on this channel. Hopefully this whole upload and everything will go off without a hitch, because it's been a while since I've done this. So anyway, take care. Bye, guys.